well. Thank you for being here. Please take a moment and hit the like and subscribe button. We have been having a bit of a marathon stream and it's been going really, really well. So I'm grateful to everybody who has been a part of it. And let's wait to see who joins. There is a conference happening here about exhibition management in Windsor, right next door to me, and I am going to see about if I can go in to see any of it tomorrow. I'm curious about the conference, but I think there may be some really valuable Masonic insights I can obtain therein. It's kind of as interesting. I spent the whole day today talking about Freemasonry, talking about the way that Freemasonry supports local industry, local tourism dollars through direct, indirect, and induced benefits. And they have a conference with that very thing. So let's check it out. But for now, let's see who joins. And as always, any thoughts you have on Freemasonry, positive, negative, or neutral, I'd love to know. And let's hang out for a bit. I also did stop by the fair. It was awesome. I had a blast. I got to check out some really, really cool things. I've got to figure this out here. I'll do that tomorrow. Nice, Mayo. I've said it before. That is my favorite, or that is probably my second favorite Friday the 13th. So that is awesome. My favorite is part 6. That is, I think, most people's favorite, to be honest. But up there, really close, is part 3. It's really, really, really good. So that is awesome. Is that your favorite? What's your favorite of the Friday the 13th? How old was I when I went to Manhattan? Well, he went to Manhattan in 1989. So I was 6 years old at the time. Um, 6 whole years old. But I didn't watch it till a lot later, obviously, because I was born in 83. So I ended up watching it a lot later, but I loved it very much. Um, I think Part 8 is a great film as well. I like all of these films. I love scary movies. Okay, so you like the remake, and it's a great remake, by the way. I support that 100%. Um, it was fun, Modern Welfare. I checked out the carnival. I posted some videos from it on my personal YouTube channel, youtube.com/Cameron Adamson. Please check that out. And it was a blast. I loved it. And I saw a lot of people from the conference. I am going to see if I can maybe check it out tomorrow. I don't know if I'll be able to or not. I definitely, unless we get some major super chats in the next little bit, there's no way I'm going to be able to afford to pay to go because it's very expensive. But maybe I can at least talk to the registration, get some pamphlets about the organization, maybe develop some information about exhibition management that can be applied or is applicable to Freemasonry. So that is something I'm going to try to do for sure. Um, and I hope you're doing well. Maxwell, again, you've asked me this before. To be one, ask one, Maxwell. What you need to do is find a Masonic lodge in your area, approach them and express your interest in joining. That's really the first step. Then they will get to know you, you will get to know them. It takes a little bit of time, but that's the first step, and it's relatively straightforward. So find a Masonic lodge in your area, give them a call, write them a letter, send them an email, and express your interest in joining. That's really it. Now, there's a process that they'll go through. They'll ask you questions. Um, you go from there. The Grand Master is not from Saudi Arabia. To my understanding, Freemasonry is actually not allowed in Saudi Arabia, though there are Masonic lodges contained and located within the military bases on Saudi Arabia, if I recall correctly. I know that's true of Kuwait, for example. I had a group of Masons. Well, that sucks, and they should know better. When you are a Freemason and you're traveling anywhere and you're at a convention center or wherever it is you might be, if you are rude, you are casting dispersions not just on yourself, but also on Freemasonry as a whole. So don't do that. And look, people are humans. Human beings mess up and are sometimes rude without meaning to be. It happens, but do your best to be better. Nope, we are not bricklayers who work for free. We are members of a group or a club known as the Masons, which has been around for over 300 years. Telegamadi, please hit like and subscribe. To everybody watching this, please take a moment, hit the like and subscribe button. I am very close to 4,150 subs, so let's help a brother get there. I would be much appreciative of it if you could do so. I mean, ultimately, it's a club designed to allow people to enjoy one another's company. It's just we get together, we put on events, celebrations, have philosophical discussions, but ultimately, it's a social club. What do you do when you get together with your friends on a Friday night? It's the same kind of idea. Hello, rainy girl. Thank you for being here. Am I a master mason? I am both a master mason in the sense that I am a third degree mason. I am also a worshipful master or the worshipful master of Border Cities Lodge number 554 and a past master of Harmony 579 and Windsor 403. So yes. Well, Albert Pike is wrong, the Matt. Albert Pike does not speak for Freemasonry, he speaks for his philosophy on Freemasonry. I mean, look, if you want to define religion in a very broad sense, then you could include Freemasonry or almost anything else therein. I've used this example before, but I've traveled on many different occasions to several Masonic lodges in and around. I mean, I used to travel to horror movie conventions. And I remember somebody had a shirt at one of these conventions, and the shirt said, "Scary movies are my religion," right? I mean, it's possible to define religion in any sense, especially if it referring to, for example, something that you dedicate your life to or you do religiously. People will say, "I wash my car religiously, I wash football religiously." If you want to use religion in that term, then absolutely Freemasonry can count. If you want to use religion in the more literal term of a system of beliefs that promises salvation or threatens damnation, and which makes statements about the supernatural, then Freemasonry is not it. Um, nope, because worshipful is an old English term. Mayors are still called your worship, judges as well. It's meant as a sign of respect, not as a sign of idolatry. Um, so when I'm the worshipful master of the lodge, it's not meant to be an implication that I'm to be worshipped in a religious sense or an idolatry sense, simply a title of respect for the office that is held. Um, Welcome, Christopher Michael from Cooper Lodge 282. Christopher Michael, if you're new to the stream, please hit like, please hit subscribe, and I hope that you are doing well. Um, so you don't have to worship any man. What you have to do is recognize the office, and that is what it's referring to. It's not the man, it's the office. Hence, every mayor is called his worship, not one specific mayor. Well, I appreciate that. Do I? Lies, but you got me. Good, Christopher Michael. I'm glad to hear it. No, Bud Morgan. I'm pretty sure if a meteor hits a Masonic Lodge, we're all done for, but I think we'll have bigger problems to worry about than that. The Matt W., many different organizations require the taking of an oath or an obligation. And I know many Christian Freemasons who would strongly disagree with the idea that joining Freemasonry, quote unquote, betrayed any religious figure, including betrayed Jesus. Um, Well, then I guess I already saw the booger in my nose. I did not realize it. What can I do? How do you know he was a Freemason? He could have just been a jerk. But nonetheless, I'm sorry that happened to you. You're Yorkite? When you say Yorkite, do you mean like the Templar degrees, the chivalric degrees, or do you mean Preston Webb Masonry? Matt, I have no idea if that's good or bad. I do not bowl, but I will say many Masonic lodges, I know one of the most common type of social functions that we have are bowling nights. I would suggest, if you're thinking about, if you're part of a Masonic lodge and you want to organize a special event, I would honestly suggest bowling as a really good option. I find for older people or people of limited mobility, bowling is one type of physical activity they can usually do. Even if they need to use one of those rollers, they can still use it and it still works pretty well. Um, it's usually pretty inexpensive. Most people enjoy it. And it's also a fun family event. Like you can put up the bumpers for the kids. So it can be a good, social event for the lodge to engage in. I would suggest giving it a shot. I'm a Freemason. It does not matter if I'm LGBT or not. I like to think I'm pretty good, but I've been a Mason for 20 years. So when you say at this point, I don't know what you mean by that exactly. I got a big head. What can I say? It's because I'm so smart. Rainy girl, thank you for the rose. So, I mean, different Masonic lodges will hold different events. I find bowling is a great one. I think social events, events that take place outside of the Masonic lodge, are actually incredibly valuable, incredibly important parts of being a Freemason and growing a lodge. So, yeah, consider them, give them a shot. Catholicism, that's a silly thing to say. Freemasons aren't trying to hold anyone down or emasculate them. If anything, I would say Freemasonry helps, a positive approach to masculinity and a positive approach to the world. So there you go. Jam, what do I believe in? I mean, I believe in a lot of things. I think you're asking me religiously. As most people know, to be a Freemason, you have to believe in a supreme being. It is not a particular religious belief. We have Masons of all different beliefs and backgrounds: Muslim, Christian, Jewish, Hindu, Sikh, etc., etc. For me, my supreme being is the rational nature of the universe as expressed through science and as expressed through geometry. And I'm grateful for that belief. I know many Christian Freemasons, many Jewish, Muslim Freemasons as well. Um, well, that's a very interesting question. That's the idea, consider yourself, of guarding the West Gate, and the question of to what extent, like, how do we determine who is going to be a suitable or a good Freemason versus not such a great Freemason? And honestly, there is no simple answer to that. So often, for better or worse, it really is a leap of faith that you're taking. I would say for me personally, though, one of the traits that I try to select for when I'm talking about Freemasonry with a prospective um, with a prospective candidate is their curiosity and their willingness to ask questions. If I'm talking to somebody and they don't seem curious and they don't seem inquisitive, that to me is a red flag because in my research and in my studies, I found that people who spend a lot of time and remain active in Freemasonry are usually more on the inquisitive or curious side of things. Drastic Freemasonry is not satanic. You've been looking up too much baloney on social media. You got to be really careful, Catholicism. Just because something's online doesn't mean it's literally accurate or true. Good for you. I'm in a secret society. Rainy girl, I'm not in a secret society. I'm a Freemason, which is not a secret society. Moms, welcome back. Thank you for the hug. I appreciate it. Um, Stones have been incredibly important parts of human history for millennia, for millions of years. Because of that, it does not surprise me that many different faiths and books and religions will use stone in metaphorical terms. Um, Yes, Bud Morgan. I've actually known several Masons who have emotional support animals and bring them into lodge meetings. So long as the animal is well behaved and will not be disruptive or dangerous, then yes, you can. Um, and I knew actually, like I said, I've known a couple Masons who had emotional support animals and brought the animals in. Um, Satanists, I have no idea if Satanists run the world or not, but Freemasonry has nothing to do with Satanism, and Freemasonry also has nothing to do with running the world. So it's not relevant to us. Um, Absolutely, it is satanic. Ugh, the high enough statement drives me crazy. I am as high in Freemasonry as one can get. I am a third degree Master Mason. I'm also 18th degree Scottish Rite and Worshipful Master. This whole argument of the high degrees is baloney, and it just shows you don't know what you're talking about. Um, Yes, this channel is about Freemasonry. I started Square and Compass Promotions to promote the ways Freemasonry was and is relevant to the communities in which it's located, as well as talk about stories of Masonic interest and try to turn my passion for Freemasonry into profession. Catholicism, you can do whatever you want, but keep in mind there's a level of rudeness to that because Freemasons, we may need to be prayed for a variety of reasons because we're human beings and are fallible. But Freemasonry is not one of the reasons to pray for us. Freemasonry is something that helps make the world a better place. I know many Christian and many Catholic, for that matter, Freemasons. Um, Nope, Mayo and Oreos, it is not. And if anybody thinks it is, they don't know what they're talking about. Is there a wake after Masonic funerals? So Masonic funerals had to be requested by the family, not by the Masons. If the family wants it to be a Masonic funeral, then we will hold one for the departed brother. But the family will decide on what happens before and after, and if there's any wakes or anything like that. It's not a part of Freemasonry. But funerals are an important part of the Masonic order. They provide us with, amongst other things, the opportunity to say goodbye to our brother, but also provides us with the opportunity to say thank you to the family for allowing their husband, their wife, their husband, their father, their brother to spend time with us. One thing a funeral definitely brings into very sharp focus is the fact that we have a limited amount of time here on earth. And every hour that you spend at a Masonic Lodge meeting is 1 hour you do not get to spend with your wife or your children or your brothers outside a lodge or your friends. And so we want to say thank you for that as much as we possibly can. Rusty Shackelford, if you want to join, you have to find a Masonic Lodge in your area, contact them, and express your interest in joining. That's the first step, and that's the most important step. From there, there's a process. The lodge gets to know you, you get to know the lodge, get to know the brothers, go out with them for coffee, and the lodge will eventually have a vote after you fill an application form to decide whether they will accept you or not. Um, I believe that all religions are equal in the sense that every religion can be a good neighbor and a good friend to me. Now, if you want to say equal in the sense of which one is right and which one is wrong about metaphysical or spiritual matters, I have zero idea and I don't pretend to know. For all I know, there could very well be a correct religion and all the rest are incorrect. I don't know what it is. But to me, I've known and had enough friends of all different religions to know that whether one is Muslim or Christian or Jewish or Hindu or Sikh, I know that they can be a good neighbor to me, a good friend to me, a good citizen, and a good brother. And you know that as well, because I very much doubt that you are running around interrogating your neighbors about their religious beliefs or your colleagues about their religious beliefs, because you know that's not going to affect whether they're a good neighbor or brother or colleague to you or citizen. Um, Pope Leo can say whatever he wants. That doesn't change the fact that there are many Catholic and many Christian Freemasons. Um, I don't have real power, Alamo. I'm simply a man talking on YouTube. If anything, you're giving me the power by being here and by commenting and by watching. Um, Pope Leo is not fake, but Pope Leo is, I would suggest, incorrect about his views on Freemasonry, or at least the Catholic Church is incorrect about their views on Freemasonry. Um, Eyes Wide, no, Eyes Wide Shut is not basically Freemasonry. I don't know what happens with these 1 a.m. streams. It's when all the crazy trolls and conspiracy theorists and interesting people show up and start acting weird. Um, oh, for God's sakes, the 33rd degree Freemason bullshit. Being a 33rd degree Freemason, yes, it's an honorific. It does not make you a higher Mason than a third degree, nor does it make you more important or give you any more power within Freemasonry than a third degree. By the way, there's also York Rite and the Knights Templar. There's also Shrine. There's also Eastern Star, Demolay. Why do none of those groups get any press? Why is this weird obsession with the 33rd degree? It's dumb, and it shows you don't know what you're talking about. Um, well, I mean, if Rainey thinks the Pope is fake, then Rainey is allowed to think the Pope is fake. As someone who has to hear about the ills of Freemasonry from people who don't know what they're talking about, Catholicism, I would suggest you got to get a bit of a tighter or a bit of a thicker skin about these things. Um, what are last rites as a Mason? I mean, Masons don't have last rites. There are Masonic funeral services, but I would give those to a Catholic Mason or put one on for a Catholic Mason as well as a Mason of any faith. Um, I don't know what that means. We don't have Masonic last rites per se. Um, but you can't touch the Christ. What I mean, I don't know what that means. You can't touch the Christians either. I've touched Christians. I've shook hands with them. I've given them hugs in some cases if they're my friends. I mean, I don't know what you're talking about there. You're being very strange. Um, oh, I mean, I can't speak for what happens in terms of a Catholic funeral service when whether a Catholic Mason gets last rites or not. I can say, again, all I can say is I've known many Catholic Freemasons who seem to find no issue combining or at least having both a Catholic faith and a Masonic membership. I mean, Freemasonry is insanely popular in the Philippines, in Brazil, both of which are also heavily Catholic countries and communities. Um, Honestly, Mayo, you're pretty much correct about that. You don't even get the nicer parking spot, to be honest. Gremlin with an F the Masons. Why so angry, Gremlin? You need to calm down a little bit. Um, because I mean, you're allowed to not like the Masons. People are allowed to have whatever views they want, but you're wrong. Um, nope, Mr. Chicken, I'm not falling for that. Good try, though. But I've been doing these live streams long enough to be able to not fall for those things anymore. Um, you can listen to the Pope. Honestly, I've been relatively impressed. Oh, for God's sakes. I've been relatively impressed with the Pope. Like, I follow him on Twitter. He's said a lot of, I don't know, I've been impressed with the things he said. I'm hoping that eventually he will reconsider the Catholic view on Freemasonry. He was born in 1956 in Chicago, so he would have seen a lot of Freemasonry growing up because it was very ubiquitous at the time. Um, it's a secret, Bud Morgan. I don't think Pope Leo, I mean, I guess if you're a Catholic, then one of the tenets may be that the Pope is infallible. But since I'm not, I can say I think the Pope gets some things right and some things wrong. Um, it depends on the setting. I can wear them at a Masonic funeral service. If it's for a parade or a celebration, I've worn my Masonic garments several times, so long as I get dispensation in advance. But sometimes we don't always get dispensation. We'll see. I mean, if the Pope can't do it, I would think the Pope could organize whatever people he needs to organize to get it done. Um, Even if Freemasonry's, well, Freemasonry is not witchcraft, so you're wrong about that. I mean, Dresdick, I guess we'll all find out at some point, but I can tell you as someone who's known priests and fathers who've been Freemasons, it strikes me as unlikely you're correct. Well, maybe the Pope will strike an end ecumenical council. The Catholic Church is declining in numbers, combined with the fact that there are so many Freemasons who are of the Catholic faith. It seems like maybe that will force their hand, if nothing else. Um, no, see, I mean, are you kidding? We've got crazier viewers right now. Drestick, the Matthew, um, are definitely way more crazy than Caesar. So, PR, I assume you're talking about Founding Fathers of America. The answer is yes. 13, between 9 and 13 of the Founding Fathers were Freemasons. The most famous ones are obviously George Washington, Ben Franklin, Paul Revere, um, John Hancock. I'm missing some, I know. So, yeah, they were. I mean, the founding principles of Freemasonry are brotherly love, relief, and truth, I suppose, would be the best way to put it. Um, why all the secrecy? There's not that much secrecy. I'm here talking about Freemasonry right now. How secret can it be? What I'll say is it's not the secrets, right? It's private information. There are two ways to create bonds of brotherhood between men or between people, but between men: shared experiences or shared knowledge. Our Masonic rituals provide both and therefore create bonds between people. If I start to share all of the Masonic modes of recognition and all the private elements of being a Freemason, it impacts and reduces the bonds of brotherhood that exist between us. So that's why I choose to maintain the privacy of our Masonic rituals. I am one subscriber away from 4,150 subs. Help a brother out. Let's see if we can get there. Um, I don't think it's virtue signaling to call people who disagree with me crazy. I just think you're crazy. What does relief mean in the context of a foundational belief? I mean, relief means to provide rest and solace for somebody who's struggling, right? So it could be if, in a literal sense, if I see somebody has been standing for a long period of time, providing them with a chair to help them sit. In Masonic terms, if I see somebody has been struggling with an emotional burden, offering to sit with them and talk to them through their struggles is offering relief in an emotional sense. And you can provide it to your brother, but you could also provide it to non-Masons as well. It's still meant to provide it to everybody. Um, well, the Matthew, I guess we'll see if God has mercy on my soul. I like to think my soul does not require mercy, but I suppose we'll all find out at some point. I got a big head, Ryan Kindle. What can I say? Um, I won't. I mean, the reason I'm not banning him is because he's not saying the same thing over and over again, and he's directing his stuff towards me. If he starts to talk negatively about other people in the chat, or just repeats the same thing over and over again, that's usually when the bans come. Because what I find with that is that's when it gets distracting. Um, So, my role within Freemasonry, first of all, I have the same role as everybody else. I'm a brother. And that's the most important role that one can hold, is to be a brother within Freemasonry. And I'm grateful for it. I am presently the Worshipful Master of Border Cities Lodge number 554. Worshipful Master is basically like the CEO of the lodge. He's there to make sure that the lodge runs properly and completes any necessary responsibilities as it relates to the lodge, be it how votes are cast. He's also there to organize events, to organize degree nights, things of that nature. It's democratic, so it's a year term, but you can do it multiple years. So that is my position. This channel is not an official Masonic channel. This channel is me and my views on Freemasonry. It's just like Albert Pike's Morals and Dogmas. It's not official Masonic statements. It's me and my opinions on Freemasonry and my views on it, and my attempt to turn my passion for Freemasonry into a profession. Um, to be a worshipful master, yes, you need to be elected to the role. Freemasonry has always been primarily a democratic institution. This is not a Mason shirt. This is a Celebrating Manitoba shirt. This is the Golden Boy. Um, I am back to being one subscriber away from 4,150 subs. Every time I get to 4,150, I then lose a sub. I don't know why. So let's get 2 subs to make sure I get over. Airplane pilot is from the East. Welcome from the East. I assume that means you're a worshipful master, or you have been, or you just mean it to say you're traveling to the East. But I've never been a big fan of that terminology. Um, I mean, I believe you have a direct relative who you believe is of the 33rd degree. I also believe he may not very well have been of the 33rd degree, or he may have been lying to you, and part of a clandestine lodge, or you just don't know what you're talking about, or all three. I like turtles too, Barry. My favorite turtle is Big Al from the Grove in Glenview, which is my favorite place to be, or one of my favorite places to be. Mayo, that sounds like the grossest thing in the world. No, you cannot interest me in that. And I hope you never become a junior warden of a Masonic lodge and serve that to the brothers. Um, well, there are many clandestine lodges out there. One of the problems with a clandestine lodge is very often they will claim to be Masonic, create their own nonsensical rituals, and then that will cast aspersions on all of Freemasonry. Basically, it's no different than if I went out and decided to start my own Knights of Columbus chapter without gaining the proper permissions or authorities, and then I end up doing dumb stuff, and suddenly people think Knights of Columbus is some type of illegitimate group. Um, Z Brothers, well, we got a couple crazy people on the stream. I have no idea what West Memphis 3 is, but we're not getting anybody off the hook. We don't worship demons either. Barry. I'm just going to call you Barry. Just a bunch of trolls talking silliness. I actually don't think they're trolls. I think they're just don't know what they're talking about for a variety of different reasons. Um, that is true, Yucatan. People do that with Christian stuff as well. I have watched Lord of the Rings movies, not all of them, but a couple of them. Actually, a good friend of mine and a brother is part of a Lord of the Rings fan club. No, Freemasonry is not demonic. Nice, Barry. Freemasonry does a lot of, when it comes to social events, bowling is a very popular social event that a lot of Freemasons take part in. Um, what are you talking about? What every lodge? How many lodges have you been to? I've been to lodges around the world. I've been to over 1,000 Masonic events. Albert Pike maybe came up twice in all of my visits. He was the Grand Master. Sorry, he was the, not even Grand Master. He was the um, Sovereign Grand Commander of the Southern Masonic Jurisdiction, Scottish Rite. So what does that have to do with Canada or my lodge? Um, yeah, Freemasons love bowling. Are you kidding? That's one of our favorite things. A great book to read, by the way, if you want to talk about the loss we are having in civic engagement, is called Bowling Alone by Robert Putnam. It's a really good and valuable book to read. You should all check it out if you get the chance. It really does a great job at explaining the lack of civic engagement we're seeing in communities right now. Um, there are many Freemasons who are Jewish, and many Freemasons who are Hindu and Sikh and Muslim and Christian and all the rest. Um, Freemasonry is not a religion, nor is it the oldest religion on the planet. That's crazy talk. And Albert Pike was speaking metaphorically. In the same way, when I went to a scary movie convention, somebody was wearing a shirt that said, "Scary movies are my religion." He didn't mean it literally, but he meant he watches scary movies religiously. I attend my Masonic Lodge religiously. That doesn't make it a religion. Um, oh, I keep hearing about this. Yeah, I think you keep bringing it up. Look, our Masonic buildings are struggling, and sometimes that impacts people that rent out the spaces. I have not read that book. That sounds like a made up book, but maybe it's not. But I have read Bowling Alone, and it's a great book. So, Barry, I mean, whether your dad was or your granddad was an actual Mason or a plumber or a politician or a doctor, it doesn't matter. We welcome men of all different backgrounds, including all different, professions. But the fact that your granddad or your granddaddy was a Mason may give you more of an appreciation for some of the symbolism of Freemasonry and the connection it has to stonework from the Middle Ages. If you want to be a Mason, the first step is find a Masonic lodge in your area and express your interest in joining. So I hope that you will do so. It's a process. It doesn't happen overnight, but that's the first step. I mean, they say just once a month, but it's funny. It can be a lot more than that. But it's, when you're starting out, you can usually say it's about one night a month. It can grow from there, though. Um, Yucatan, I will never have that issue. I have no feet. So if anybody has a foot fetish and they want to be around me, they're going to be very disappointed. Um, and Alamo, you keep on forgetting. I'm from Canada. I have nothing to do with what you're talking about. Freemasonry is decentralized. So you need to just calm down a little bit. Keep on bringing up the same thing over and over again. It gets tiring. Um, and again, I can't speak to it. All I can say is I know a lot of Masonic lodges are struggling with their buildings to maintain them right now. Hendrix Jim, hello. How's it going? You probably had a reason for it. I mean, sometimes having fun is not so fun for the people around you. Um, I've read the Bible, though it's been a long time since I read the Bible, to be perfectly fair. Stinger can be full time. I would consider myself to be a full time Mason, and I'm grateful to be a full time Mason. But other people, the amount of dedication and time you put into Freemasonry is going to depend on a lot of different factors. I do think we need to start encouraging this idea, though, of full time Freemasonry. That is the thing that will allow it to grow once again. I got ugly teeth. What can I say? Please hit like and subscribe. Well, there's a lot of people who think a lot of crazy stuff. I mean, you can be pissed. You're allowed to be. The problem is I can't comment on it because I don't know anything about it. I'm not from Alamo. I'm from Canada. I'm a big believer in preserving our Masonic buildings as much as possible, but I don't know anything about the situation or the story behind it. And obviously, the things I read in the newspaper can give me maybe a general idea of it, but I don't know the specifics. I haven't seen any of the paperwork, so it's nothing I can comment on. You'll get used to it, Yucatan. Sometimes this stuff happens. You just kind of got to push through as much as you can. It feels like the wacky hour, that's for sure. Um, he was not a higher Freemason in rank than Matthew. That shows your lack of understanding about Freemasonry. He was no higher rank than me. We're both Master Masons and Masters of the Lodge. He was a higher rank in Scottish Rite, which is an appended body to Freemasonry. But if he was sitting in, if he was visited, if we brought him to the future and he visited my Masonic lodge, he would actually be a lower rank than me. I would be the worshipful master in the lodge, and he would be a master mason. I may invite him to sit in the east as a sign of respect for his time and efforts in Freemasonry, but he would have to listen to what I say. He would be of a lower rank than me. It just goes to show you don't understand anything about Freemasonry. Um, and we got Croesus making some prayers as well. So there you go. I'm doing well, although dealing with a bunch of crazy people on the stream is interesting. Um, Yeah, Yucatan. It could be interesting. And honestly, if people just want to come in and hang out for my lives, I appreciate it. And I'm grateful that you are here. I hope you'll consider doing some super chats if you enjoy the streams. Follow me on Patreon, follow me on Medium, follow me on Instagram, all that good jazz. Would be very helpful. They didn't like my car. I do not believe in a supernatural power. I think the universe is most likely eternal in time. Not eternal in space, but eternal in time. Um, yeah, well, it's not a high rank in, I mean, the Masonic Bible, quote unquote, that people love to talk about really is just a King James version of the Bible. It simply provides a space in the front for Masons to sign their names when they attend their first, second, and third degree, and then it's given to them as a keepsake. Some lodges have pins, some lodges have coins, some lodges have Bibles. It really just depends, right? If you're, let's say, not a Christian, but you're Muslim, then obviously it's not going to be a Bible that you use. It'll be your Father and Sacred Law will be the Quran, for example. Um, I mean, I don't know if the truth is relative precisely. Um, I don't know what you mean by that exactly. I don't think any car is disturbing. You should always eat the crusts of your sandwich. I was told, I don't know if this is true or not, but I was told that the crusts are healthier than the bread. I don't know if that's true. I'm not a dietitian. I'm just saying, eat your crusts. I think cyborg otters are awesome. I would get a cyborg otter as a pet if I could. Um, Well, he should have been expelled, obviously. If you're committing crimes as a Mason, you should be expelled. And I can tell you, if I ever discovered one of my Masonic brothers was out there committing crimes, I would inform the authorities immediately, as you are supposed to. To not do so does nothing but bring disrepute to the craft. Um, in fact, one of the very things we are taught very early on within our Masonic career is and even the first degree, if you find out a brother is committing a crime or a criminal offense, you inform the authorities immediately. And that goes all the way back to the Regius poem of 1390, which talks about it. I'm not in a cult, the angry lobby. I am a Freemason, and Freemasonry is not a cult. So you are incorrect about that. Um, it is not a cult for many reasons, but I'll give you the three. It is not a cult, A, because it does not attempt to isolate any members from the wider community, from their friends, their family, their job, or their religion. It does not venerate any individual it does not venerate any individual, nor does it venerate any ideology, but it's democratic in nature and allows people to vote on how things proceed. Is the second one. And the third one is it is entirely based on one's own free will and accord. People can and do leave Freemasonry all the time. No. I mean, well, whatever you say. I mean, if I see a brother jaywalking, I'll just jaywalk with him, obviously. If it's something of that, or if a brother speeds down the road. But obviously, you know, you can, obviously, if there's anything involving a felony like murder or any serious crimes to that extent, then yeah, I'm informing the authorities, obviously. But everything in life, there's a common sense element to it. Um, Well, it sounds like you've researched Masons who've committed crimes, and you're going to find some because Freemasons are human beings. You'll also find Christians who've committed crimes in a religious context. You'll find plumbers who've committed crimes in a occupational context. You'll find elks and moose who've committed crimes in a civic engagement context. Freemasonry does not guarantee that you'll be a good person. I think if you're following Masonic principles and Masonic ideals, you'll be a good citizen and a good person, but we can't always guarantee that. That's why I always say when we're allowing somebody to join Freemasonry, we are ultimately taking a leap of faith. And unfortunately, sometimes, no matter how hard we try, um, we get it wrong. But that just happens. That's human nature. All we can do is, if we find out these things are happening, we inform the authorities immediately and we suspend them from the craft. Um, I've never sacrificed any goat, and I'm not trying to control the banks. I can assure you of that. Clearly, you've never seen my bank account if you think I'm trying to control the banks. Um, no, you cannot self-initiate into Freemasonry. If you want to join Freemasonry, you need to contact a Masonic lodge and express your interest in joining, and you go from there. If you were to try to self-initiate, that would be considered clandestine. I mean, I don't know what it would mean for a Masonic lodge to be corrupted. I mean, Freemasonry is decentralized. There's no single governing body that controls it. Some people leave Freemasonry because they feel standards have been too lax, which is a type of corruption, like reading from a book, things of that nature. Um, Stinger, that is true. Community service and charitable actions is a staple of Freemasonry. And I do think it's important to remember when we talk about charitable actions in a Masonic context, we are talking about it not just charity with your money, but charity with your time, charitable with your efforts, charitable with your forgiveness, charitable with your understanding, charitable with a lot of different things. I think very often in life, we have this tendency, and it's unfortunate, to view charity as being exclusively about how much money you're spending. And I think that it's about a lot more than that. Um, if he's running the show, then it's not decentralized. The point is, it's decentralized. There is no single governing body or single entity running any show. And it's definitely not Satan or satanic. Um, the angry lobby, Freemasonry has nothing to do with Eyes Wide Shut. I suppose my meetings would be a lot more interesting if Freemasonry was connected to Eyes Wide Shut, but it's not. And if Stanley Kubrick thought it was, then he doesn't know what he's talking about. Um, well, you can both subscribe to my channel and subscribe to Jesus. You can do both. What is required reading? Again, Freemasonry is not satanic. It probably will, end up at a certain point, putting the Matthew in a timeout. Because at this point, he is saying the same thing over and over again. It does grow tiresome after a while. My channel, my rules. What is something Trump could do? So keep in mind, you cannot ask that question in a Masonic lodge because Freemasonry is apolitical, or is not a political institution. And we cannot discuss Freemasonry in a lodge. Outside of it, I mean, oh my gosh, I don't know. Disavow QAnon, encourage people to take vaccinations. Those would be two things. I guess we'll see what happens to Matthew, but I'd like to think that while I'm at least here on Earth, I can try to make life better for the people around me. And I think I do, though whether I'm successful or not, I suppose everybody else will have to decide that for themselves. What? I just got my hair cut. What more do you want from me? I'm no fan of dress stick either. I'm very loyal to Freemasonry, I like to think, but that loyalty is true loyalty, not fealty. There's a difference. Loyalty is when you're right, you're right. When you're wrong, I'll tell you. Fealty is you're right no matter what, which is not a healthy approach to take. Um, I mean, I'm proud. I'm proud of a lot of the things I've done. Now, you got to be careful because pride goeth before the fall. And if you find yourself with too much pride, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. But I'm proud to be Canadian. I'm proud of the things I've done. Um, I have no issue saying I have, pride in myself, pride in my country, pride in my friends, pride in my work as a Freemason. Um, well, that's not true, Matthew. I was somebody before I was a Freemason, and I'm somebody after while I'm a Freemason. And if I ever choose to leave Freemasonry, I'll still be somebody. Um, if anybody was joining the lodge to be somebody, I would probably not want them to join because that would show a real lack of understanding of who they are and why they're somebody. And you don't join Freemasonry because you need it. You join Freemasonry because people may need you. So that'd be really weird. So, and I mean, that's true for everybody. If anybody thinks they need to join an organization to be somebody, that's a very, it's not just a scary way to think, it's a really dangerous way to think because you're probably going to end up pushing yourself further and further to be somebody without properly taking care of yourself, either at an emotional or any other level, and that's dangerous. Um, so I'm not a Templar. I'm a third degree Master Mason, which is the highest degree in Freemasonry. I'm also 18th degree Scottish Rite. I'm also Worshipful Master. The Knights Templar is part of the York Rite, which is an appendant body. It's not really something I'm interested in joining. I just want to focus on the Blue Lodge and see that it is as successful as possible. Um, Avoiding ad hominem attacks is usually a good piece of advice. Um, but if you're going to be on YouTube, you got to get used to it. I used to be able to read Latin because I took classics in school and in university, and Latin was one of the courses you're required to take, but it's been so long, I completely forgot it. But learning a different language and learning Latin is actually really, really helpful in terms of being a good writer and being a good speaker. So if you want a piece of advice, learn multiple languages. I would suggest even learning Latin. You'll become a much better writer. You'll learn, for example, how to, amongst other things, you'll learn how to be really good at tense modifications. So, Water, thank you for the support. I really appreciate it. Please hit like and subscribe. Um, Jewish people give a lot of charity, so do Masons, so do Hindus, so do Sikhs, so do Elks, so do the Moose. Charity comes in a variety of different. Charity comes from a variety of different places. Um, I mean, I hate conspiracy theories, and I don't think so. I mean, if you just say a bunch of stuff, sooner or later, some of it is going to be found to be correct, but it's also going to be so broad that it fits into anything, right? Like, that's the problem. Because if you say, like, use Freemasonry as an example, if you say Freemasons commit crimes, there's, about 5 million Freemasons in the world. Some of those millions are going to be criminals. That doesn't mean Freemasonry is a criminal organization, right? Plenty of rich and powerful people use the fact that they were rich and powerful to traffic and harm young people. There's no question about that. But frankly, a lot of people who aren't rich and powerful also harm young people. I mean, and traffic them. It crosses all spectrums. As somebody who worked in a jail and worked as a probation officer, I can assure you these type of crimes are not exclusive to any socioeconomic class, rich or poor. But when we start to focus on fake made-up problems like rich people are trafficking, instead of just looking at the problem as a whole, which is society that very often turns its back on victims of crime, including children, we end up missing the mark. We have to think about it as a holistic approach. This is not unique. Like criminal acts like that, I assure you, they're not unique to any one stratus or one group. Now, rich people can have access to lawyers, things of that nature, and they maybe have a better chance of getting away with these things. But even in my experience, like, we need to treat this, instead of looking at conspiracy theories, which tend to take the focus off of the real problem and put it on the fake problem. We need to look at the real problem, which is the culture we have that very often is permissive of these horrible acts in general, as opposed to rich people are eating children or something. Um, am I gay? Would it make a difference if I was? Whether one is gay or straight, you can be a Freemason either way. There is good and bad in everything, Stinger. You're absolutely correct. I mean, they're not allowed to disapprove your mode of transportation, but maybe there was another reason of which we're not aware. I cannot read that in Latin. I haven't took Latin in about 20 years, which is insane to think it's been that long. So I cannot speak Latin to save my life. Um, I wish I could, though. I regret not being more fluent in languages outside of English and bad English. Um, Epstein did not have meetings with the Freemasons. There's no evidence that Epstein had any meetings with the Freemasons, and there's no evidence that Trump was or is a Freemason. So you're wrong on both of those things. My wheelchair. I drive my wheelchair, and I take public transportation, and I support having public transportation in cities, by the way. Stephanie, welcome. Thank you for being here. I hope you're doing well, and I hope you're having a good day. So my favorite sport is professional wrestling. That's the thing I love most of all. I enjoy football a fair bit as well. I'm not really following FIFA. I mean, Lucifer is a Latin word, but I mean, all words, I suppose, and all names are made up. I suppose if we're going to get really technical. Nico, we're talking about Freemasonry. Mostly what I'm doing is dealing with trolls and fighting trolls left and right at the moment, or just fighting crazy people. Please hit like and subscribe. I am a Freemason. He's May. I started this channel to promote the ways Freemasonry was and is relevant to the communities in which it's located, and to turn my passion for Freemasonry into a profession. So please do some super chats. I'd be much obliged. I read the files. Well, I didn't read every file. There's too many to read every one. But I read the files for Masonic references, and I did a whole podcast about it. He's a May. Please hit like. Please hit subscribe. Nico, Freemasonry is a civic club or a group that has existed for approximately 300 to 400 years. I got a lot of comments coming at me, in fairness. So I don't catch them all, but I try to catch the ones I can. Bro, why most wrestlers or MMA fighters are from Russia? I mean, I don't know, other than I know they have some really great training programs in Russia. Um, Interesting enough, I'm going to make an aside note. There are a few famous Freemasons who've been wrestlers. Harley Race and Damien Sandow are two examples of that. Khabib Nurmagomedov, I mean, one of the GOATs. Some would argue the greatest of all time. I don't think so, but how come I can't read what Catholicism is cool? I'm not going to read every stream that comes through. If you guys do a super chat, I will do a text-to-speech app of it. Do you think... So Jay-Z and Beyonce are not Freemasons. At least I've never seen any evidence that they are. All right, Catholicism, you're starting to say the same thing over and over again, and that's getting a bit much as well. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. I mean, I think you're trying to get me to pray on stream right now. You need to keep in mind, I wouldn't describe myself as a Christian. I don't think it's my place to pray on the stream. There are many Freemasons who are Christians. and Catholics and Muslims, etc., etc. I think Russians just, it's the training. They work really hard, they train really hard. For a lot of them, I think it's a matter of national pride, which obviously will push them. It did come up in English. Uh, YouTube has a automatic translation service, so very often it will come up in English, at least on my phone. Um, on my laptop, let's see. I mean, I don't think Canada's that big into soccer. By the way, I'm hoping at least some Masonic lodges are, I'm hoping at least some Masonic lodges are going to have FIFA watch parties or something cool like that. Thank you, Stephanie Lockhart. That is incredibly kind of you. We have a great military. I would not want to fight with our military. I can assure you of that. They would take me out in a heartbeat. I've known some of those soldiers. They are tough sons of guns.
At Stephanie Lockhart, 8,028.13 Canadian dollars and 99 cents.
No, Freemasons and Luciferians are not the same thing. Luciferians is a type of philosophical belief, maybe a religious belief. I think it skirts the line. But Freemasonry is not a religion, nor is it a philosophy. It's a civic group or a club. Um, let's go Argentina then. My name is Cameron Adamson. Uh, so that's my name, Cameron Adamson. I share that because, for amongst other reasons, I have a YouTube channel that doesn't talk about Freemasonry called youtube.com/Cameron Adamson. So check that one out as well. I hope you will follow me there and subscribe to me there also. Um, I think it just does that because it wants to, I mean, I think maybe it's a setting thing. But what you can do, I believe, is you can actually post a comment on a video in Latin. You can do it that way. So I hope you'll consider posting a comment in Latin on a video. Like my friend will post comments in French all the time. And it'd be cool to see a Latin comment, actually. I think that'd be really fun. So consider doing that. Colby is saying the same thing over and over again. You need to calm down a bit. Thank you for that as well, Stephanie. That is very kind of you. Let me just see if I can get that. What is Oakwood the Pascal? I mean, like the Pascal wager? Is that to what you're referring?
At Stephanie Lockhart, 8,028, number 113 Canadian dollars and 99 cents. Religion is a businesses. Masons are nothing like the Jesuits.
I mean, there could be Jesuit Freemasons. It wouldn't shock me, but the Jesuits are a Catholic order, if I recall correctly. Um, the Angry Law. I will take it because I like the movie Hatchet. Victor Crowley was the name for the record. Got to put some respect on the name Victor Crowley. Um, oh, the Pascal Lamb. Okay, you're referring to Jesus. All right. Um, Oakwood, welcome. Please hit like and subscribe. I hope that you're doing well. There are many Christian Freemasons. Hello from India. Thank you for being here. No. I mean, I think there's cannibals that exist in the world, and some of them could be elites, but some of them could be anybody. Again, it's not an elite, not elite thing. It's a decaying society, decaying civic structure, and Freemasonry can provide a civic framework to hopefully turn away from criminal acts, whatever they may be. Um, well, the Illuminati don't really exist anymore, right? You need to keep in mind the Illuminati has not existed in any meaningful way for at least at least 100 years, if not maybe more. You're from Scotland, Oakwood? Thank you for being here. And Barry, welcome from Arizona. Thank you for being here also. I hope that you are all doing well. My dream country to travel, I have been so lucky to be able to travel to countries around the world. So it's tough for me to say. I mean, I really want to make it to Japan. I think that would be incredible. Moms, thank you. Yeah, a great reason to join a lodge is for intellectual discussion. There is very often a lot of really cool and really incredible intellectual discussions that take, yes, I would say without a doubt. That's a good thing to look to join for. I mean, you can sincerely pray, but I think you're going to be disappointed. I have no intentions of leaving any leaving my Masonic club, but I mean, I always worry when people say that because I worry that they're going to become disappointed when it's not successful. Because supposedly, Stephanie, Freemasonry is very popular within Japan, or at least has grown very well in Japan, and I think it'd be cool to see it there. I'd also really, really want to visit Hong Kong for the same reason. Um, I mean, I don't know what historic Masonic affiliations you're referring to. To my knowledge, he was not a Freemason, but you know, I've never seen any evidence or heard any evidence that he is. It is not an allegory that mocks anyone, including Jesus. Um, it is meant to represent, amongst other things, I mean, I never give specifics, but it's meant to provide an allegorical lesson. We're not mocking anyone's religious beliefs. And I think that's one of the greatest things about Freemasonry is it does not mock religious beliefs of anyone. Um, so no, you are wrong, Oakwood. Please hit like and subscribe. I'll take it. Baby birds are handsome birds. Um, which type of baby bird? That's the question. Like raven, hawk, um, you got to name the specific brand. I would choose to be, if I could pick any bird to be, I think I'd go eagle or I'd go raven. Um, for any sanctuary, Oakwood, it's not meant to mock anyone's faith and anyone's belief. I think that's one of the best things about, again, Freemasonry. It does not mock beliefs. It does not mock religion. We are taught, in fact, very early on within Freemasonry, not to ever knock one's beliefs or religion or mock them or insult them. If more people had those views, I think things would be a lot better in the world, that's for sure. No Masons try to steal Eucharists. That never happens. Um, to my understanding, Nathan Rothschild was a Freemason. He was the exclusive one of his family. I don't believe, I think there was one Rockefeller, excuse me, that was a Freemason as well, although I don't know for sure. Um, Stephanie, you're going with the metaphorical or the mythological bird. That's pretty cool as well. Masonry reviews all religions as equals in our day-to-day civic life, and Oakwood, you do as well. You're not interrogating your neighbors about their religious affiliations. You're not interrogating your colleagues or your coworkers about their religious affiliations. You're not interrogating the people on the bus with you about their religious affiliations. For the purposes of who is your neighbor, who is your colleague, who is your fellow transit rider, religion is irrelevant because those are all examples of civic life, and Freemasonry is no different. It's part of civic life. It's not part of one's religious life. Now, certainly, you're a Christian all the time, whether you are in a Masonic lodge or not. Same thing with the Muslim, same thing with Jewish. In the same way, you're a Christian all the time to your neighbors, but that doesn't mean you're discussing religion with them or claiming that the one way they can be a good neighbor is to have your faith. And if that is what you believe, then I would suggest you need to take a look in the mirror and reconsider what you consider makes someone a good neighbor. Nice try, angry. There is not. How's it going, John Wygren? Bear, I don't want to belittle anybody. Why would I do that? But I hope you hit the like and subscribe button. If you don't hit like and subscribe, I will belittle you for not being a subscriber and taking advantage of the free offer that YouTube is providing you. Some people would say the world we perceive is in fact a hologram, and we are the true universe, the true world is something outside of that. Thank you for the red card, Bear Frost. The oldest Masonic lodge in the United States, if I recall correctly, it is located in Boston, Massachusetts. It is the Green Dragon. It met at the Green Dragon Tavern. I believe, but let me double check. St. John's Lodge in Boston, Massachusetts, instituted July 30th, 1733. I thought so. I don't remember for sure if they met at the Green Dragon Tavern or not, but they certainly met. Many Masonic lodges did meet in the Green Dragon Tavern. I have not read The Three-Body Problem. Bear Frost, well, do some more gifts and I'll hate on you all you want to. Thank you, John. I appreciate that. That's incredibly kind of you. You are helping me turn my passion for Freemasonry into a profession, and for that, I am truly, truly grateful. So thank you. And thank you for the GGEZ as well. I don't know how to belittle you exactly. You're terrible. Just horrible. I mean, probably not to mock, probably to honor. I mean, keep in mind, the Premier Grand Lodge of England was founded on June 24th, which is St. John the Baptist Day. So St. John the Baptist has often been considered the patron saint of Freemasonry. I'm 42 as well, so I'm not going to hate you for that. Otherwise, I'm hating us both for being old. But, do I network with wealthy people? I'd like to network with wealthy people to get more people on my channel. But, no, Freemasonry is not about networking with wealthy people. It's not really about networking at all, though that can be an added bonus. But if anybody tells you that joining Freemasonry will help you meet more people or network with more people, you're going to be disappointed. That's not what Freemasonry is about, and it's not the reason to join Freemasonry or to join any Masonic lodge. Bear Frost, I'm sorry that you're single. I'm sorry that you're lonely. For my advice, for whatever it's worth, is don't think about like being single and lonely. Think about things you like, think about things you enjoy, and just do those things. And hopefully you'll meet other people who share those same interests. Honestly, for a lot of the world, 1,000 is absolutely wealthy. So good for you. Sounds like you're being very responsible with your money. So keep up the good work. You got more saved up than I do. So keep it up. And that's awesome. I'm happy for you. It's not easy saving up money in today's day and age, that's for sure. So Murray, going back to what you're saying, if anybody is telling you that join Freemasonry and you'll get to network with wealthy people, believe me, you are going to be disappointed. That is not what Freemasonry is all about at all, nor should it be, right? If you're joining to be around wealthy people, there's better places to go, Rotary clubs maybe, than Freemasonry. As always, once again, if you're new to the stream, please hit like, please hit subscribe. I appreciate everybody being here. And it's been a very good stream in terms of getting people in, getting people joining. Probably going to have potentially a record number of views, or at least close to a record number of views. So Thank you, Bear. I try my best. I don't always succeed. It just depends on who I'm talking to, but I try to match kind of attitude. So if you're being nice to me, I'm going to do my best to be nice and respectful to you. Um, some Masons may practice magic. Like I've met some Wiccan Freemasons, Wiccan, but I would say it's rare. Um, and Freemasonry, like Harry Houdini was a Freemason, he was a magician. There's actually a Masonic lodge out of California that's made up of professional magicians, excuse me. I think that's really cool. Um, and I'd love to hang out with them at some point and do a podcast episode about them. But if you're talking about magic, you added a K there to mean like actual sorcery or witchcraft or breaking laws of physics, then no, I've never met any Masons who do that. I did know a couple Wiccan Freemasons, Wiccan. Um, I don't know if they would be considered practicers or practitioners of witchcraft. I don't know what that would constitute, but it's an interesting question. I have to ask them. We're going to give it a bit more time. Just going to wait to see who joins. But I will be ending this stream soon. It's been a lot of fun, but I got to get myself to sleep at some point because there is a conference I want to try to get to tomorrow, um, which I think will be a lot of fun. Anytime there's a conference or a special event, I always try to see if there's anything that I can take from that conference and apply to Freemasonry. And honestly, there almost always is, like genuinely so. And that is one of the best things about Freemasonry is how it can apply to so many different things and so many different factors, groups, organizations, pick your term. It has, you can talk about Freemasonry in historical context, you can talk about it in esoteric context, you can talk about it in civic engagement, you can talk about it in economic contexts, you can talk about it in a variety of different contexts, and that's the beautiful thing about it. Um, in my oh so humble opinion. So I've been going off and on for the last like 12 hours. I took a couple breaks, but I've been going pretty steady. I'll be ending this soon, but I am looking at potentially a record number of views, or at least close to record number of views and watch hours. And for that, I'm truly grateful. So thank you so much. Well, not in an official capacity, but some Masons may be interested in the occult. It's just their nature, right? If they're interested in it. I'm not interested in it, so because I'm not interested in it, I certainly have no connection to the occult. I don't believe in the occult as a literal thing, if that makes any sense. Thank you, Stephanie. That is incredibly kind. Yes, occult just means hidden in its most literal sense. And so, very often, it's only been in recent time that occult has taken on a more um, a more sinister tone, right? For the longest time, it simply meant, for lack of a better term, something hidden. Like your bank account would be occult knowledge.
At Stephanie Lockhart 8028 number 113 Canadian dollars and 99 cents.
No, Freemasonry is not a cult, the angry lobby. Yeah, Freemasonry, we have rituals. The purpose of those rituals is to promote um, brotherhood through shared experiences and shared knowledge. That's why I maintain the privacy of the rituals, because it's not mine to share. Just like a family recipe. I mean, I'm grateful for that, Stephanie, and thank you so much. Having said that, please don't spend your whole paycheck on me. Spend it on yourself. But my purpose in this channel is to turn my passion for Freemasonry into a profession. So I'm grateful for every super chat, and I'm grateful for Stephanie's support. Thank you for that. Um, That is true. At this point, everyone, I think, on the internet has a belief in the occult. At least it seems that way. But we are definitely getting close to some record in terms of numbers of streams, records in terms of numbers of subscribers, and I appreciate it very much. Yes, Angry Angel, there are at least four Masonic, or more than that, Order of Women Freemason lodges in Ontario. There's also Eastern Star. It exists primarily in England, but it does exist in Canada as well. I think one of the greatest mistakes we made in Freemasonry is not being respectful enough of our Order of Women Freemasons brethren. So, yes, it does. And they actually are able to meet at our Masonic buildings. Eastern Star as well, as Stephanie points out, they are a wonderful part of our fraternity and our order. And I'm grateful for them also. If someone donated $100 by accident, would you refund them if they asked? I would. Now, keep in mind, refunding through YouTube, it's really hard to do. What I would, unless there's a way I'm not aware of, what I would have to do is actually just send them the money or a check by mail. So I need to get their contact information. But I would do my best to make sure I refunded them. So, yes. Painter, you are not from Austria. Let's just calm down with that. Having said that, yes, it does go by fast. If the painter from Austria you're referring to is who I think he was not a good person and not the person on whom anybody should base their life, that's for sure. He, in fact, outlawed Freemasonry in Germany and all the parts where the Germans took over. Um, Thank you, live man. We are always traveling eastward in life, or in Freemasonry, I should say. So, how many watch hours am I at? Do you mean with this stream or all together? Like lifetime, I am currently at 15,000 watch hours. I mean, actually almost 16,000. Ultimately within Freemasonry, like, or sorry, within YouTube, the way it treats your live streams and your videos depends on a lot of factors, but primarily what we need to focus on is audience retention and engagement. The more engagement I have, which includes but is not limited to video, comments, likes, hearts, super chats, the more YouTube will promote this stream to other people. It's the algorithm. It's funny how much we talk about the algorithm nowadays in almost religious tones. Like we must not upset the algorithm. Which is probably not the healthiest approach to take in life, to be honest, but it's a separate can of tuna for a separate day. Shaquille O'Neal was a Freemason, Joe G, but to my knowledge, Michael Jordan was not. Um, at least I've never seen any evidence that he was a Freemason. So I would highly question that. It's a biological computer, which is, do you mean the universe? Dr. Robert Stevenson, how do you start being on YouTube or being a Freemason? I'm not sure to which you're referring. No, Angry, of course not. One of the things about Freemasonry is it's about your own free will and accord. It's not just about your own free will and accord in that you're expected to, join a lodge because you want to, not because you're being forced. We're not going to make you stay in Freemasonry if you don't want to be. It again is of your own free will and accord. So if you want to leave Freemasonry, then you can just stop paying your dues and walk away. It's perfectly fine. And many people do for a variety of reasons. It is not like the mafia in any way, shape, or form. And if you think it is, then you've been watching way too much nonsense on social media. Um, I mean, what I will say is this. I've said this before. When it comes to this idea of Like, whether you're the Mafia or a Masonic Lodge or an Elks Lodge or the Moose or a union or whatever else it might be, ultimately you are trying to fulfill the same purpose, which is the human desire to belong to something greater than yourself. It's just Freemasonry takes that desire and uses it for good ends and for good purposes, whereas things that are not Freemasonry take those same desires, like the Mafia, for example, and use them for bad purposes. I do not know what Mithricism is, like the cult of Mithra. Freemasonry borrowed a lot from a lot of different Egyptian mystical schools, including Mithra, but it also borrowed from Stoic philosophy and stonemasonry and a million other places. Um, I don't know who that is, the Angry Lobby, but I feel like on YouTube you got to be really careful what you say rest in peace to, because it could turn out you as some horrible person. And then I got to deal with that. So I don't know who I'm saying rest in peace to. But I mean, I guess it's a shame when anybody dies. At least somebody misses them. Um, well, I mean, Freemasonry is not. You have to be really careful when you say, like, Freemasonry is X or is Y. As I pointed out, Freemasonry borrowed a great deal of symbolism and ideology from Egyptian mysticism. It also borrowed a lot from Islamic faith, from the Christian faith, from Judaism. It also borrowed a lot from Stoic philosophy. It also borrowed a lot from Enlightenment era philosophy. It also borrowed a lot from primarily stonemason guilds and stonemasonry. And it's not just one single thing that it took from or borrowed from. So, in the same way, Freemasonry definitely has Gnostic influences. It also does have Egyptian mystical influences, but it took those and applied them into literal lessons and moral or allegorical lessons, if that makes any sense. Um, There are many Christian Freemasons. Yes, Robert Stevenson. I would say the majority of Masons I've known in my life are Christians. But you can also be a Muslim Freemason and a Jewish Freemason and a Hindu and Sikh and a variety of other different types of religions as well. To be a Freemason, you must believe in a supreme being, but the nature of that supreme being is up to you. So Neil Armstrong was not a Freemason, but Buzz Aldrin was a Freemason. In fact, Buzz Aldrin claimed the moon for Texas Masons, which is why we currently have in existence Tranquility Lodge 2000, which is a incredible lodge, which hopes to one day actually have a Masonic Lodge meeting on the moon. I hope that happens. I would love to, within my lifetime, see Freemasonry exist on the moon. I'd love to see people exist on the moon. Freemasons are a variety of persons, and I've said this a million times because you're somewhat right. Freemasonry is not special. What's special is the relationship between Freemasonry and the individual. It's just like music, right? The song itself is not special. It's the relationship between the song and the listener. That's what makes it special. That's what matters. Freemasonry is the same way. It's the relationship between the lodge and the person that makes it special. I mean, no, because ISIS extremists would be committing crimes, right? Extremism and political violence are crimes. So, no. But you could be a Muslim and a Freemason. You just can't be committing those types of criminal acts, obviously. I don't think Charles Manson was a Freemason. I've never heard any evidence that he was. He may have claimed to be, but I do not think I would trust him. If he was, then it means that unfortunately we let somebody in without seeing his true colors, which can happen sometimes. Um, Thank you, Stephanie Locke. That is incredibly kind of you. Um, and I'm very, very grateful. I mean, but so do plumbers commit crimes, right? I think if you're following Masonic ritual and you're following Masonic ethics, you will not be committing crimes. But unfortunately, Sometimes it happens. If it does, all that we can do as Freemasons,
At Stephanie Lockhart 8028, number 169 Canadian dollars and 99 cents.
all we can do is make sure that if we do discover there are people committing these criminal acts, we inform the police and we inform the authorities immediately. Um, and we deal with the issues as quickly as we can. Um, the angry, I mean, how's about you all be metaphorically my sugar mama and everybody give me a 99-cent super chat? That would be much, much appreciated. Um, yeah, Stephanie, I'd agree with that. Metro is being foolish and an idiot. Metro, Jeffrey Epstein was not a Freemason. Um, Hiram Biff was probably not a real person. He was almost certainly a metaphorical figure or an apocryphal figure. In terms of the most influential Freemason, I mean, within Freemasonry, maybe George Washington, maybe Churchill. He was not a Freemason at all, Metro PCS. Um, oh, for this, I mean, everything minus the withholding tax. So everything minus 30%. Um, well, I mean, ultimately, it's possible in theory that somebody could be a Freemason and just hide it. It's also possible somebody could say they're a Freemason and um, not be. Ultimately, when it comes to public figures, usually there's pretty accurate information as to who is and isn't a Freemason, because if they're a celebrity of any sort, like Jay-Z, the lodges are going to want to mention to people that Jay-Z is a Freemason. It helps with recruitment. It helps people get interested in joining. So usually there's records somewhere and documents somewhere that can confirm it. As with anything, there's always a level of uncertainty. In the same way, again, do I know for sure there's no invisible leprechauns in my apartment? No, but I can use common sense. I can use common sense about Donald Trump. I can see his history, see the things he's talked about, check with records that I have access to, and confirm he's not a Freemason. Manly P. Hall, the Matthew, was a Freemason, but you need to remember he wrote his famous book, The Secret Teachings of All Ages, several years before he became a Freemason, about 30 years before he became a Freemason. So just keep that in mind when you're reading The Secret Teachings of All Ages. And I don't think he was a loser. Puff Daddy, not a Freemason. I think Metro's just making stuff up at this point. So Rosicrucianism and Freemasonry are separate organizations. They're both civic clubs and civic institutions. Rosicrucianism, to my understanding, is much more philosophically inclined, whereas Freemasonry incorporates much more charitable and social activities. I actually did a podcast about Rosicrucianism a little while ago, but I will say many Freemasons are Rosicrucians and vice versa. I'm also a 18th degree Mason, which means I'm a member of the Rose Croix. Satan is not a Freemason. Satan existed, if he did exist at all, if you believe in, the Christian mythos, several millennia before Freemasonry was ever even a thing. All right. We're just going to put some people in timeout for a second here. We're just going to have some people calm down a little bit. Sogo Metro might be a troll. I don't know for sure, but I'm going to put some people in timeout for a couple seconds. Joseph? No. Now, the Statue of Liberty was designed by a Freemason in France, famously. I think it was both the engineer and the architect were both themselves Freemasons. But it is not meant to represent Lucifer. It's meant to represent Athena, if I recall correctly. Who does? I think Athena, but I could double check that. It's a goddess of some sort. Libertas, the Roman goddess of freedom, so not Athena. I know at least a couple people have joined Freemasonry and told me they joined because of the stream. So at least two. And honestly, even if it was zero, I'd still love doing this stream. But the fact that I've had two people join is such an honor. And I'm so grateful for that. Um, and hopefully more. I didn't start this channel with the purpose of getting people and recruiting people to join Freemasonry, but I consider it a bonus if it happens. Welcome back, Mayo and Oreos. The stream has been interesting. The stream has been very good. I mean, I got 32 people watching right now, and that's a great number, especially because I've been streaming for hours like today. So that's really honorable. I've had some, or great, I've had some really kind donations and super chats. I hope to get a few more. I would be honored by that as well. So yeah, it's been going really well. Don't forget to follow me on my other social media channels. Follow me, on Medium, Instagram. I would be truly grateful for that as well. Turn on your notification bell if you hit the subscribe button. That would be grateful as well. It's amazing how so many modern definitions change. Joseph, what looks similar to Mithras? The Statue of Liberty? Or I'm not sure what looks the same as Mithras, or sorry, the cult of Mithras. There are similarities between Freemasonry and the cult of Mithras, but they're just similarities. They're not the same thing. So you need to keep that in mind. The Matthew, you can put those things in the chat as you please, but you need to remember, right? This is not a Christian stream per se. There are Christians on the stream. He was timed out for a second. He's not reached the point yet where it's a permanent timeout or permanent ban. Are you saying the Statue of Liberty looks like that? Sometimes it's just about people being annoying. Mithras, Persian, Sun. It's always a tough balance trying to figure out when to ban people, when to leave people in. It's tough to know exactly the best to do with that. I mean, looking at images now, I mean, sure, there's the sun, like the crown. Maybe the Romans were famous for adopting gods from other cultures and making them their own. So maybe it's a question of Libertas, the Roman god, was modeled after Mithras, the Persian god. It would not shock me if that was the case. Well, I mean, a courthouse is not predominantly Freemason. I don't even know what that means. A courthouse is not predominantly Freemason based. Like some judges are Freemasons and some lawyers are Freemasons. The vast majority are not. This channel, this stream, I've got almost 1,000 views, which is incredible. The fact that I had 2,000 earlier, plus another 436, I mean, we are getting very close to a record number of views. We may be even over for a record number of watch time hours. Definitely not. Most judges are not Freemasons. I mean, I can speak for Canada. I've never known any Masonic judges who are Freemasons. Known a few Masonic lawyers, but never judges. Carice, when you say the purpose you guys serve, I assume you mean the purpose Freemasonry serves and not YouTube streamers, where the purpose YouTube streamers serve is highly questionable. But Freemasonry, I mean, it serves the same purpose that going out with your friends on a Friday night does. It serves the purpose of humans wanting to spend time with one another. That's always been the purpose that Freemasonry serves. Humans want to spend time with one another in social settings and fun gatherings. Freemasonry allows for that. Pastor Sempa, you got to get used to it if you want to be on this this crazy ride called YouTube streaming, believe me. I mean, what is the purpose? What is the purpose anything serves? It's because people enjoy it, people like it, right? That should be good enough, in my opinion. That is a type of trolling without a question. Sorry, 5754. No world domination. Um, as fun as that sounds, I'm not that interested in any type of world domination. And honestly, I think it would be mostly a pain in the butt. Like, genuinely, I cannot think of anything that seems less enjoyable to me than trying to dominate the world. Like, the headaches. Well, no, Freemasonry is decentralized. So outside of the very general idea of being a place of gathering and a place of enjoying one another's company, no two Masonic lodges will feel like they have the same purpose. They're unique. They're different. That's the beautiful thing about Freemasonry. Um, so the square and compasses are not tools to map the stars. I think you're thinking of a sextant, Sextant, which does look, in fairness, does look like a square and compass. The square and compasses are tools to work with stone. They're the way you would shape stone, carve stone, make sure the angle is 90 degrees, and the way you would check Masonic workers' plans to make sure that they are good and appropriate and within due proportion. We took those tools and we adopted them and turned them into symbols for Freemasonry because we evolved from stonemason guilds in the Middle Ages. Yes, just like the stonecutters from The Simpsons. I've always liked that episode. It's called Homer the Great. It's a fun episode. I think a lot of people really enjoy it. I do. I can tell you that. Sometimes they will, but sometimes you can be visiting a Masonic lodge and it's your first time there, and then you're meeting your brethren for the first time, which can be just as much fun, genuinely just as much fun as, visiting the lodge you've been to a million times. Well, not literal plans, Carice, metaphorical plans. The compasses, I wonder if I can, oh my gosh, I should have worn a short sleeve shirt. The compasses, the square and compasses, like the compasses, those things you get in like a protractor, they were originally used by stonemasons back in the day when you were designing plans for the building of a stone structure, a house, a wall, a cathedral. We don't use them literally, we use them metaphorically. Everything in Freemasonry, our symbols are metaphors to represent ideals that we can use to try to live better lives down here on Earth. On Earth, be better neighbors, be better friends, be better citizens. Um, well, one of the things I've always said, 5754, is a great way to judge me is to judge me by my enemies. If Freemasonry is the enemy of the Nazis, that makes me very happy because they were monsters, and I'm very happy to be an enemy of them. It means that they recognize that within Freemasonry there was certain beliefs in things like tolerance, kindness, respect for others, respect based on things outside of one's religion or ethnicity. And because of that, Freemasonry is obviously not going to be the Nazis are not going to be a fan of that. I would say any type of government agency that leans towards fascism is not going to be a fan of Freemasonry, which I think is a sign that Freemasonry is on the right track. Carice, before you say goodnight, please hit like, please hit subscribe. Consider 99-cent super chat. I would be grateful. Nope, we have no demonic rituals, Ryan. And you know we don't have any demonic rituals. I've never heard of Die Glock, but okay. All right, David, we're going to put you in a bit of a timeout here. You're getting a bit much. I'm not a big fan when people start to argue with each other on the stream. That gets annoying. So, And it also detracts people from the stream, so who are here to hang out and chat. Doesn't be able to learn about Freemasonry per se, they just want to hang out and chat. So keep that in mind. As you know, we'll be back on the stream tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Stephanie, my phone is about to die too. So I'm going to have to end this stream shortly. Anybody on this stream wants to do a last minute super chat, I'd be much obliged. You can also find me on, like I said, all of my different social media accounts. I mean, I definitely need some sleep. It's been a very fun and exciting stream, but it's also been a very long, several stream. But I'm getting close to a record for views and for watch time hours, which is a sign that this YouTube algorithm is being super cool and super friendly to me. So, Stephanie, I appreciate that. Very kind. But once again, make sure that you're keeping money for yourself as well. Having said that, I'll take it. And I'm grateful. So, thank you so much for it. Yes, everybody should follow Stephanie's lead. I would be much appreciative of it. Honestly, though, even a 99-cent super chat helps out big time because what it does is it shows engagement in the algorithm. That engagement encourages
At
YouTube.
Stephanie Lockhart 8028, number 169 Canadian dollars and 99 cents.
It encourages YouTube to send the stream to other people. So I would be grateful. So Joseph, I stream Mondays through Fridays, 1 a.m. and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I will be back on 1 p.m. I also have a ton of Masonic content on social media in written form, and I hope you guys will check that out as well. I mean, why are you sorry, Stephanie? Don't be sorry. I'm grateful that you are supporting the channel. And I mean, I'll always appreciate the support very much. So thank you. And yeah, I'll see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll be ending this stream soon because, like I said, my phone is about to die. But I'm getting so close to a record. I want to see if I can stick around for a couple more minutes because we may end up getting over, or at least getting very close to a record number of views. I didn't follow the UFC last night, so I don't know. I mean, I am, generally speaking, a fan of, UFC. I think they're probably the greatest athletes in the world. I don't know how I feel about it necessarily being on the White House lawn, to be honest, but I mean, I don't know. It's all the pictures I saw of it did look incredible. That's what I'll say. So I heard about that in Mayo, and I heard it was pretty, decent fights. I mean, Sugar Sean O'Malley, I think his name. He's a fighter I really enjoy quite a bit. So I was happy to see him there. I also think, look, it's really, really hard to, it's really, really hard to earn a living as a professional fighter, obviously. We all know that's true. The amount of stress you put your body through. So any opportunity they have to get themselves paid, I appreciate and I think is a really good thing. And because of that, I'm happy there was an opportunity for a good paycheck for those guys, if nothing else. I think that's a really good thing. We are, like I said, getting really close to some cool numbers here. I mean, I would be cheering for Michelle Obama. I can say that of the two of them. I would be cheering 100% for Michelle. Honestly, I think President Trump, who I do not like at all, I've said that many times, might end up, he's pretty old and out of shape, and I don't think he can go 20 seconds against anybody. We are, like I said, I want to kind of end this stream because my phone is about to die, but I'm so close to setting a pretty decent record. I think I might be there already in terms of watch time hours, not yet in terms of, not yet in terms of, views, but watch time hours. I don't know if I want to end this stream quite yet or if I can make it there. I can't use a charger. Goodbye, Stephanie, and thank you again for your support. I can't use a charger because my plug next to my computer is not working. I don't know why. There's a breaker tripped somewhere and I can't find it. And because of that, if I want to charge, I have to take my whole setup to the kitchen, and that's a pain right now. So no, I'm not going to use a charger. I'm just going to affect the fact I'm about to lose my phone. Ryan, I don't think he practices cannibalism, but I don't think he's a good president. I'll say that for whatever it's worth. But that's just my humble opinion. Thank you again, everybody, for being here. Once again, as always, please hit that like button and that subscribe button. I am getting close to 5,000 subs. I'm at 4,154. So we're almost there, and that is something for which I'm grateful. Just, what, 4/5 of the way there? Less than over 4/5 of the way there. I think we can get there. I think we can get there within the next couple months. I have watched Super Size Me. Look, I've said this before, and I'll stand by it. I think we as Freemasons absolutely have a responsibility to maintain our health and maintain our well-being. And that includes eating healthy. Now, that doesn't mean you have to be perfect because nobody's going to be perfect, but I think it's a cool thing to think about and consider. And I think shows like Super Size Me show that our diet absolutely affects our health, absolutely affects our well-being, and we need to think about the ways that we're going about eating so we can contribute as much as we possibly can to our Masonic lodges and to our Masonic bodies. And we should also not be consuming crack of any sort. So first stone, get yourself some help. And I think we can probably end this stream. Let's see what my I mean, it's still going. Oh, I did not know he passed away. The drinking doesn't help anything. Luna, what are your favorite video games? For me, it's Assassin's Creed Part 3. I mean, that's a shame, obviously. It makes me very sad because, I mean, it makes me sad when anybody dies. I wasn't a huge Super Size Me fan or anything, but, still makes me sad. Luna, if you're not done so yet, please hit like, please hit subscribe. I would truly appreciate it. Let me know how you're doing if you have any thoughts on Freemasonry. Do some hearts, do all that good jazz as well. It would be truly, truly appreciated. So what's Division 2 about, by the way? Because I don't think I've seen it before or heard of it. I hear they're making a sequel to Alien Isolation, which, as a fan of all things scary, that excites me quite a bit because I love horror-based video games. Like I really love the Dead Space games quite a bit. Prawley, what's up to you? Thank you for being here. I hope you'll take a moment, Prawley, if you're not done so yet, to hit the like button. Consider a super chat and let me know how you're doing. I hope it's well. I mean, it can't help anything, right? I definitely think it's one of those situations where I don't think it will help anything to be doing the Super Size Me challenge, obviously, but there may have been other factors as well. I think like if there's a lesson we want to learn from this, it's just pay attention to how we're feeling and how we're doing. And by doing so, I think that's the most important thing. Is just pay attention to how we're feeling, pay attention to how we're doing, and talk to our doctors regularly. Being a drinker, being a smoker, that stuff is not going to help either. Also, please don't forget to follow me on my personal YouTube channel, youtube.com/Cameron Adamson, which I'm seeing a lot of growth there, and for that, I'm truly grateful. Um, so thank you for that. Let's see what we're doing. This is one of those things where, again, I'm getting so close to a couple different records. I don't necessarily want to end the stream anytime soon, and yet, I do have to get myself A, to sleep, and B, charge my phone because I have to wake up early tomorrow. But we are seeing a lot of growth. It's been a very successful stream, and for that, I'm truly grateful and truly thank you. Believe me, I'll be talking about this tomorrow, how successful today was on all metrics: watch time, views, donations, subscribers. I mean, people are watching, but people aren't commenting right now. Sometimes that happens. I have 11 people watching at the moment, but it's been a lot higher throughout the stream. So it goes up, it goes down, right? And that's part of this thing called um, it's part of this thing called streaming. You got to take the good with the bad. Nate, would it make a difference if I was? I'm a Freemason. That's what matters. Um, well, you need to calm down with that nonsense, Nate. Gay is normal. So is straight. So is, for that matter, the B and whether you're bi or trans or whatever else, it's all normal. It's just different. And different is okay. We're all different in some way. That's the beautiful thing about life. Every day, Big Chill, every day. No, he didn't. Nobody says that, Ryan Barnes. And nobody says that. But okay. If that's what you want to believe, then so be it. I'm handsome, Nate. That's what matters. Yeah, you did it, Mayo. You said one thing and you summoned the weirdos. It happens. Unfortunately, it's one of those things that just happens in life. You just got to get used to it. It's okay. They make the stream interesting. They make the stream fun and exciting, obviously. So what can you do? What I can do is ask you all to hit like and subscribe one more time. Thank you all for being so supportive of this channel. End the stream for now. Remind you to be back on tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern. And absolutely, Mayo. I worked in a jail for about 5 years, and one of the things you never ever said while working at the jail is, it's a quiet day, or it's been quiet. because that's the point when everything pops off. So let this be a lesson to you. Don't tempt the fates, right? The fates are busy. Or the fates are not busy. The fates are bored. And because the fates are bored, they want to cause us all sorts of problems. Um, so don't tempt them, you know. A slow potato. Fortunality, please hit like, please hit subscribe. Big Chili Dog, please hit like, please hit subscribe. Oh my gosh, that's too hot. I would melt. It was a beautiful day today. Not to make you jealous, but it was an absolutely beautiful day today. Not too hot at all, really nice. Fair enough, Fortunality, but thank you for being here nonetheless. And maybe you will reconsider at some point. I would be grateful. Big Chili Dog, fair enough. You don't have to either. Nobody has to subscribe, but I appreciate you being here nonetheless. Yeah, I would melt if it was 106 degrees. I cannot even imagine. All right, guys, thank you all so much. I really am ending the stream now because I got to get to sleep. It's going to be a very fun day tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern. Have an excellent night, and I'll see you all 1 p.m. Eastern. As always, follow me on social media as well, including you, Big Chili Dog. I think you do like the content. I think in your heart of hearts, in your soul of soul, you love the content. That's why you're on here. Because if you didn't love the content, I don't think you'd be sticking around. I think you'd be finding someplace else to be. No, we're not going to track down anybody. It's not what we're all about. I've been doing this stream forever. You've seen all the people and the way they treat me, and yet here I am still. So is it really a matter of I'm going to sit there and care if they're tracking me down? Or I'm going to waste my time tracking someone down? I have way better things to do than run around tracking people down. And it's just so much work. It's kind of the same thing I always talk about when people say, oh, Freemasons control the world. It's like, really, would we really want to do that? The headache of trying to control the world when we mostly can barely agree on what to have for dinner seems to me like a very silly thing and a very silly idea, in my oh so humble opinion. But I am grateful to have made it over 4,154 streams. That is, or sorry, subscribers. That is really awesome. I had a great number of subscribers join me today. I'm also, I think, pretty much at a record for views, for watch hours, for subscribers in a day. Maybe not quite subscribers in a day, and for revenues in a day. Don't be slapping anybody. But if it was your friend, I guess it's okay. Maybe it was like a How I Met Your Mother scenario where it was like a slap bet. Having said that, probably don't slap anybody is what I'll say, if for no other reason than for legal purposes. Just to be extra safe about things. Because I don't need to be getting in trouble for that. Xavier, I hope you're doing well. I hope you'll hit like and subscribe. To everybody watching this, please take a moment. If you've not done so, hit like, hit subscribe. It's been a record-setting stream, so I'm grateful for that very, very much. And the thing is, the last time I set a record like this, I was streaming for 24 hours straight. The fact I can stream for half that time and get a record number of views tells me that my channel is definitely on the right track. And I think tomorrow we're going to see some pretty cool things. I'll definitely share it all as well on my, across all of my different socials. That's why you got to follow me on all my different socials. Instagram, Medium. I've got a couple more Medium followers today as well, for which I'm grateful. Dun, dun, dun. So that is awesome to see. And I'm hoping to grow on Medium as well, by the way. I want to try to grow across my platforms. Right now, one thing I'm seeing is great streams, great growth across my social media platforms, but I need to keep that growth going. Um, Slow and steady is always good advice. Rome was not built in a day. I think exponential growth is tricky, or not exponential growth per se, but growth on social media is tricky because it looks to the untrained observer that somebody's an overnight success, whereas in reality, it's years of work that no one sees before you get to the point I'm at the moment. So I'm grateful for all of the support I've been receiving. It has been absolutely necessary to get me to this point. All right, guys, I really am signing off this time. Thank you for being here. I'll be back on tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern. I'll see you then. Have an excellent night.